Suddenly my inner Dr. Matthew.
You're channeling your inner Dr. Matthew. I didn't know you were theatrical. I knew you were a dancer. I knew you were a dancer, a good dancer at that. How are you? Rufai loves to sing that dance. Femi Akinsoya, how are you this morning? Perfect. Ayo, how are you? I'm very... I can't believe I'm talking. It's almost like so... I only see this in your full glory. That's why I call you. You know that. We miss you. Well, good morning to you. Let's begin what's straight. The former chief Ali has called on President to maker, talking with the organizers, who are predominantly young people, would help douse the intention and avert the planned demonstrations.
My fear is, in most cases, looking at what happened during the EndSARS, I hope it doesn't get out of hand. And more especially when we cannot identify the leadership, that makes it more difficult. Because there is a need before strike, even Labour that went on strike severally, they normally issue out warning. Now we only see the warning to go on strike, and we don't know who are the faces.
All right, Ali Ndume here is saying we don't know who are the faces. I missed your conversation earlier, but I know we discussed this, the presidency attacking the supporters of Peter Obi, saying that they are the ones behind this nationwide protest, which, you know, there are a lot of reasons to condemn like a mass protest, because obviously what happened during the EndSARS was not good. But, you know, his comment aligns also with that of the Nigeria Labour Congress. The NLC, in a statement on Monday, appealed to President Tinubu to dialogue with the leaders of the planned demonstration, saying that Tinubu should invite the leaders of the planned protest and listen to their grievances. I also loved your comment about this podcast. I've never been on Twitter Spaces. I love that comment earlier. But I think that it is what needs to be done. Yeah. Dialogue. I respect the NLC. I respect Ali Ndume. We need to dialogue, but you cannot blame Nigerians that want to come out to protest. Sure. There is hardship in the land. We have seen a lot of videos. In fact, one of them is a viral video showing, I believe, it was the chairman of the Nigerian Association of Refrigerator and Air Conditioner Practitioners, Jobi Oluwarotomi, lamenting over the half bag of rice reportedly given to him by the federal government to share with more than 300 practitioners in Ondo State. Let's look at that video really quickly.
A few days ago, I was called upon that the state government or federal government or whatever, I don't know which one I can call it, that they are distributing palliative I come and receive for my members. I was speechless when I got there. Come and see what I saw. Can you see by yourself? Can you see this is maize? This is maize. Can you see it? Can the whole world see it? And this is rice. I want to tell you that we even paid for this. They collected money to convey this. And this quality you are seeing here is for a member that is almost about 300 practitioners under me in Akure South and Akure North. And I don't know how I will go about this, giving it to them. I just want to appeal to the state government and even the federal government. They should please leave us alone. We don't want all this issue of food palliative to be distributed again. This is cruel. This is purely inhuman. This is wickedness. They should please leave us alone.
I mean, we did take that story where the federal government said that they were going to distribute 20 trucks of rice to the state. I mean, is this what's happening in Ondo State? I believe the governor should this is what we are saying. This is what we were saying that day. We were saying that this should not go to some sort of constituency project and, you know, to these party members. And we are saying this young man here, I mean, we need to investigate that video because it is quite viral. Rufai.
Oji.
Yes.
Why are you surprised?
Yeah.
You are distributing 20 bags of rice, 20 trucks of rice
1,200
per state.
4,000
per
state, yeah.
If you take that fry, 20 trucks of rice to Aja Junction, they will share it in less than 5 minutes. When they did the reports some people did the calculation. It came down to 1/6 of a paint bucket of rice. People will literally get, when you pack rice in their hand like this and give it to them. That's what they will get. It's so meager. That's how some people have touted the idea of, why don't you give them food stuff where they can buy the cheaper price in the markets? Or you can also help them in such a way that you give them the money in their pockets. Because this thing, it will never be up to. There's no how. Are you surprised? When they shared palliative in Lagos, you see the bread, they were sharing bread for people that time. Cutting bread. People were throwing the food away.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of work is, you can't compare to the palliative they share in other parts of the world. It will never be enough. And a lot of that food will be lost to logistics. It will be lost to carry. You heard what he said. They even paid for money to carry the trucks and things like that. So I think a conditional cash transfer, they have everybody's bank details. Alerts, Nigerians like alerts. Even if it's 3K or 4K, bang, bang, in people's account, it will go a long way. You know, with that money, they can go and use to buy mama put, buy small food in the market and, even if it's a meal a day. Yeah. I mean, but it's never going to be enough.
Yeah, right. We're seeing interventions, though. We are seeing that the federal government is making strides to help alleviate this sort of poverty that we're experiencing. In the meantime, the federal government has released 438 billion naira to 34 states and the Federal Capital Territory for the Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus Program, NG Cares. The program's development objective is to expand access to livelihood, support and food security services, and grants for poor and vulnerable households. The program is also a results intervention program where states and FCT invest their resources in line with agreed protocols and get reimbursed by the federal government after an independent verification exercise. I would love to, show, how much the states are getting, because I think this is also a way that I try to make sure that the federal government, are doing what they're supposed to do for the states. I believe Zamfara earned about 49 billion, Nasarawa, 27 billion, Plateau, 26 billion, Gombe, 25 billion, Kebbi, 21 billion over, and Cross River, 20 billion. And the list goes on. Adefemi, quickly on this particular issue of, federal government's intervention and all of that.
Right. To some extent, I think it should be welcomed and should be applauded, because if we're talking about interventions, if you're talking about not wanting people to take to the streets and protest next month, which is just a week away, then there has to be a viable alternative there. So I do think it should be applauded, but I do think that this is now time, it is high time for Nigeria to create a feasible welfare state. It is more than us saying and identifying that there is poverty in the land, there's a cost of living crisis, it's more than palliatives, it's more than this disbursement of money. It has to be a strategic and long-term attachment towards making sure that people's financial needs are met. So I do agree with you. Some form of a welfare payment, whether it's weekly or monthly, will go a long way in addressing this type of problem.
We see that in developing countries as well. Yes, we have it in America. It's called food stamps.
Even social security. In the UK, exactly. You get vouchers and the like.
So NG Cares is actually
it's a World Bank supported intervention and it is the credit portfolio.
Yes, and it's the loan that's come after COVID-19. So the excess of it, and it's it. And that's why I asked the question earlier as to, we should also ask states questions, because truthfully, as part of interventions, the federal government has released some funds to the state governments to be able to meet the needs of the people. Even though I'm still of the opinion that it should still be trickled down to the local governments, because they're the ones who are closest in touch with the people. One of the things is CNG buses as well. Federal government gave state governments money for CNG, to promote CNG buses and conversion. What has happened to the money? Because people need to start asking those questions. It's great to see these numbers. It's great to see some states, if we check, have given accounts as to what they did. There was different projects across different states. What have they done with the money? If people are not feeling the impact, even if we keep announcing these billions of naira, they will still protest, because it's not about the announcement on TV or the press releases. It is it getting to my stomach? Is it getting to my table? And you saw the Ondo State man talk about the fact that, look at the rice. So if you're releasing all this amount of money and what is getting to my pocket is one handful of rice, of course I'm still going to protest. It's a drop in the ocean. So that's what the challenge is. Let us probe. We see these huge amounts of money being announced. What were those amounts used for? Who is responsible, and why are the people not feeling the impact?
Absolutely. Dialogue and interventions are great to avoid this protest. Nigeria will be great.
Amen. No, and we enjoy the greatness of Nigeria.
Absolutely. Well,
Nigeria
now let's take reactions from the meeting organized by the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokobiri, with the chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, and Farouk Ahmed, CEO of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, to resolve the current impasse affecting the Dangote refinery. Well, the stakeholders present at the meeting, including the CEO of NUPRC, Benga Komolafe, and Mele Kiari, the Group CEO of NNPC, all expressed their gratitude to the minister for his prompt intervention in facilitating the important dialogue, which was focused on fostering a conducive environment for Nigeria's oil and gas sector and finding a sustainable and lasting solution to the issue. Let me take this tweet posted on billionaire businessman Femi Otedola's page, written by Akinwumi Adesina, president of the African Development Bank. He wrote, "This whole issue on Dangote is shocking and creating bad waves for Nigeria globally." Akinwumi Adesina. Monopoly often exists where there are high barriers to entry or high capital costs. How many individuals or companies can do railways? How many can do refineries of the scale of Dangote refineries? In a nation that has been importing refined petroleum products for several decades, the abnormal simply became very normal. No smart investor would make a $19.5 billion investment and want it to be undermined by importers. To manufacture is extremely expensive and risky. This is even more so in Nigeria, given the very challenging business and economic environment fraught with policy uncertainties and policy reversals, and where the self-defeating default mode of simply import it is always so easily rationalized and coerced to solve any problem. Competition is good for everyone. But is Dangote refineries anti-competitive? What is the evidence? Has Dangote refineries prevented any other company from setting up refineries? Why have others not done so? How come they have not done so for several decades? Was it Dangote that held them back? But Dangote refineries surely cannot be asked to compete with importers of petroleum products. That is not competition. Let the importers set up local refineries and compete by refining in Nigeria. That is fair and justified competition. We cannot and must not undermine, disparage, or kill local industries, talk less of one that is of this scale, a jewel of industrialization in Nigeria. It is more than simply delving the cheapest product to the market. It is about domestic supply, security, driving, and yes, protecting globally competitive industries, maximizing forward and backward linkages to the local economy, job creation, reducing forex expenses, and shoring up the naira. We must not be myopic. This whole disparaging of Dangote is uncalled for. It is self-defeating, and it is very bad for Nigeria. Who will want to come and invest in a country that disparages and undermines its own largest investor? Investing is tough. Pettiness is easy. It sadly sends a signal that the price for sacrificing for Nigeria is to get sacrificed. On simple. Point. No, really on point.
And that's why I said, please, all of this, pack yourself in a room and get off this stupidity we are doing in the media. Because, I mean, look at it. See, even before this happened with Dangote, the chairman of Total, Puyon, said, we are not ready in this country for investment. We are not ready. We talk too much. I'm sure he will look. I'm sure he will have called Dangote, because they are friends. I'm sure he will have called Dangote and say, Ali, I told you this.
Yes.
And I told you this.
Right, he's not the only one that has reacted.
I'm sure other people are also looking and saying, you guys are a joke.
Absolutely.
The same NNPC that is now talking, NNPC that was collecting money for running a Warri refinery, another refinery, they were not producing anything, they were still paying salary. How can you be paying salary to an unproductive place? The same NNPC that they should bring their books out.
That's always what we've been asking for. The same NNPC. Let me take another reaction. This is from Sanusi Lamido, actually, talking about NNPC. He said, these people in NNPC do not want to end their lucrative subsidy scam, and I don't think they will end it. But as a nation, if we do not thank Dangote for what he has done as an African to deal a hammer blow to multinationals and the rentier system, and for structural change in this economy through value-added and various sectors, we should not condemn him. Also, we tend to repeat stories without evidence. We hear about Dangote getting favorable taxation, but no one has said what this taxation is, if he got it alone, or if it was offered to a sector or to pioneers, and if such a practice is in fact normal to encourage investment. Well, instead of killing Dangote, we should try to make more like him. Nigeria always kills its heroes, and it's best because of envy and pettiness. How many times have we repeated this? I mean, these two comments, really, we must encourage the Dangote refinery. We'll take another story. A women's rights advocacy group called the Voices for Inclusion and Equity for Women have called out Senate President Godswill Akpabio for his alleged disrespect of female senators. Last week, Akpabio told Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, the senator representing Kogi Central, not to speak like she was in a nightclub. Weeks before that incident, Senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, Ireti Kingibe, was shut down by the Senate President when she protested her exclusion from the affairs of the nation's capital. While the group in a statement on Monday said every voice must be respected regardless of gender in a democracy. Their statement reads in part, the contribution of the female voice in governance is not just a matter of fairness. It is a democratic imperative. Senator Akpabio's censure of Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's must be addressed seriously. This is a call to action for the Senate to uphold norms of respect and equity and to uphold itself accountable. Only then can governance be truly representative and democracy genuinely participatory, fostering a society that values equity, inclusion, and diversity across all dimensions, while we require immediate redress. We pray that Senate President Godswill Akpabio will embody the true spirit of God's will by showing the grace and integrity required to ensure that all senators are treated with respect and fairness they deserve. I believe I was speaking with the team for Akpabio, and he had said that he was going to apologize to Natasha Akpoti. We have seen that, we have heard that. We're waiting for that apology.
They should quickly do it.
Yes, we're waiting for that apology. So well, anyways, following that debacle between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Akpoti, a blog listed names of some female celebrities who they claim to be side chicks of the Senate President, including Nollywood actress Dakore Akonde. While reacting via a post on Instagram, the actress described the allegations as a very wicked lie, adding that she has never met the Senate President and also threatened legal action against the blog for trying to tarnish her image.
Categorically state that I have never, ever in my life met the Senate President. I have not had any cause to see him or to be in the same room with him, not to talk of being one of his side chicks. Hello, I'm married, happily married. I have 2 beautiful children. I have always been above board in my dealings with anyone. So for a blogger, a jobless, wicked blogger, to decide to put my name amongst women who have been with this man is totally wicked and totally unfounded. It is a lie from the pit of hell. I want to put it out there right now. Anybody who can say that I have been with this man, that you have evidence, hard evidence, video or audio, I will give you 5 million naira.
All right, I'm glad Dakore, who is my very dear friend actually, has come out to respond to this allegation. It is cruel.
Yes,
it is uncalled for, and I believe that blog should be taken down immediately. Aren't there agencies that do that? How dare you?
I think they've pulled them down many times, they keep coming back again and again.
What is it called? Gist lovers? Something?
I haven't given them.
No, because we need to let them know it's completely unacceptable.
The damage is already done.
Yeah, it's already done. Yeah. So this is an age-old, and it is just as bad as what the views the coalition of women had come out to speak against.
Yes.
The fact that when you say a woman who is successful, the first thing that comes to your mind, or it's easily believable that she probably got there because of this, or if you, and by successful, I'm not even saying in terms of attainment of a career, but even financially successful, there must be a sugar daddy sponsoring it. And so that's why a faceless, nameless blog can post up pictures of women and and allude that they are sleeping with or having affairs with the Senate president, and people just take it hook, line, and sinker because why? It's a woman, she's successful, there must be something behind her success. It is shameful, and we must end this narrative. By the way, her lawyer, Olisa Gbakuba SAN, has written a cease and desist letter to Gislov, and I hope that because some people have to pay. Yes. If not, this will continue.
Heads must roll.
Yes, heads
must roll. You cannot disparage a woman in that manner. Unacceptable. We'll take our final story in the United States then, where Vice President Kamala Harris won the backing of more than half the Democratic delegates she needs to become her party's nominee and set a new fundraising record on Monday. In her first 24 hours as a presidential candidate, Harris, in a series of remarks, highlighted her past roles as a prosecutor and attorney general, emphasizing her experience in taking on various types of perpetrators, and drew parallels between these experiences and her understanding of Donald Trump's character, suggesting a familiarity with his type of behavior. Let's take a look.
You know, as many of you know, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California, and before that I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
All right, my woman, she knows Donald Trump's type. Who's Donald's type? His type. We know his type.
She knows his type. She knows how to handle them.
She knows how to handle them.
One thing about it, I trust Kamala. I mean, she knows her, and what she says is what she's going to do.
When a woman tells you, I
know your type. You know how she's going to deal with you well. And like I said, it's a new era for the polls. It's a new era for the United States. I cannot wait for this whole charade to begin. Well, all right. I'd love to thank you.